Shouldn't you be on radio?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now. Hey, guys. There we go. Boom. If I can do this without this thing falling over. Hold on. I'm on radio, son. Sorry for the inside of my hand. I'm trying to do this on my phone. There we go. How's everybody? I have to do it this way tonight because my internet is down. And I can't, I don't know if I can even do the whole show. So that's wonderful. Son, can I look at that when I'm done with this? Thank you. Don't be offended. All right. Really pissed off right now. I'm really pissy, folks. Welcome to the pre-show. So, and of course, Rainey's getting back from Scouts and all the kids, and everybody's got to ask me questions and show me their pocket knives. And it's like, damn it, I'm in the middle of things not working. So I wish your tractor parks would work for my internet. So I am outside because I'm so irritated, and I am so, thank you, Leslie Holker, by the way. Thank you very much. It means a lot. How long has your internet been down? About 17 minutes. So here, hold on. I got to adjust things a little better. Pardon me, folks. I don't do this on the radio, but I'm having this because I'm irritated as hell. There we go. And it's not an electric one like Rocky Stucci. Hold on. Still trying to get things pumped up here. You know what? We go live. We're already live. How about that? Hey, radio audience, we're already live on the radio. And you know what? My internet is down. I could not broadcast tonight as of about 20 minutes ago. And so we're just going to have a little talking free-for-all. So tonight, because you know what? All my notes are on the internet. All of my stuff's on the internet. So you'll have to pardon me because I can't get on the show. And pardon me while I'm just trying to make things work here. Pardon the palm of my hand while I'm trying to get that set up. Let's see if it even do it without tipping over on me. You know, these little stands are nice, except they're built with a tilt in them, but not enough of a tilt. So there you go. Well, it's still not right. So we'll just do and do. So my apologies for the weird show. I hope everybody can hear me okay and hear my microphone okay. So good evening, Morgan Snow. I see your comment is up. I don't know why it's still up, but there you go. So you, Scotty, causing Leslie to need a smoke. How about that? So I'm broadcasting without internet. I'm broadcasting with my phone internet, as if we are in the dislocated, out of place studio down in the South in Louisiana last year. So let's see. For the first time, you're not muted. I love that about your show. How about that? That's the first time I've come on not muted. How about that? Can everybody hear me okay? Let's see. Comments, banners. I can even do my banner, I think. Hold on. Example banners. Here, look at this. Boom. There's that one. How about that? Brand. I think I can even put my my title brand on. No, I can't. Doesn't let me. So I'll go back to comments. Boom. There we go. We're in comments. So I can see and hear you. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you for letting me know, guys. Sorry, I was just a couple of minutes late into the pre-show. And so some of you on the radio got to hear the pre-show without the intro or the music or anything like that. I just popped in live ranting and raving. So yeah, my internet went down at about, what time is it now? It's 9:08. It's at about 9:35, 8:35 Central Time. My internet went down, and so I got on the phone. Well, I tried all the standard stuff. You go and unplug your modem, plug it back in, blah, 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 blah. didn't come back on. That happens all the time over here because in Somerset, Wisconsin, where I am, we only have one company. And so they have the monopoly. And so, but their internet's always up and down. So I called their hotline, their tech support hotline. And guess what? They can't fix it. There's nothing that can be fixed right away. I told me, I do go on radio. And they're sorry, they can't do anything yet. It might come on by midnight. It might come on by tomorrow morning. So here we are. There you go. Yeah, Facebook told them to turn it off. Now, the show I had planned for tonight on the Exodus, it's not that I don't have all that information in my head. I just have it all organized on my computer and all organized down there and organized with links from the internet and maps I was going to show you and all of that stuff. So we're moving tonight's show to tomorrow. And we're making our show tonight just whatever you want to talk about. Because I'm going to stand here and probably have a couple of smokes because I'm really irritated. It frazzles me like you would not believe. So welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to the show. And if you're listening over on Odyssey Radio, you can join the video simulcast in one of 4 different ways. But all you're going to see is this. If you're already here, you know what it is. You can go to Facebook, 3 different places, my page, Odyssey's page, and the Intrepid Radio page. And you can also go to my my YouTube page, youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. Where's my camera? It's over on this end, and I keep looking in the wrong direction. So I'm not making eye contact, personal eye contact. So I'm trying to relax. This is Sarah. This is the stuff that irritates me. Big things I can handle: death, heart attacks, other, the big things in life. It's the little things like this that drive me insane. And then I barked at my son, who was just trying to show me his new pocket knife from Scouts, and I barked at him because I'm like, son, I'm trying to get this stuff done. Just got to pull you up on my phone so I can go outside too, says Leslie. So, folks, I'm not much of a smoker anymore. We can talk about smoking. I'm not much of a smoker anymore. I've got Morgan Snow's comment is stuck on here, and I can't seem to get it off of my screen. But hey, Rowan, the internet's up. It's up in the house. It didn't take you somewhere else and say, cannot connect? Are you sure? Oh, it connected to Google. You're sure? Do you want me to just go over to YouTube and look up my show and see if it's playing. I pressed join. You pressed join? So you're in here? You're in the chat room? I can go press it. So apparently this is all for naught. They told me it would be tomorrow, probably, before I would see internet again. And of course, what did I do? I read them the riot act for being a podunk little company in a podunk town that has a monopoly on all the internet around here and shitty customer service. That's what I told them. And I told the guy who had to listen to me rant for a minute or two. And I said, you know what? I apologize to you. You're not the one who deserves this. You're just hearing it from me because I'm pissed off. Can we rebound? That's the question now. Yeah, I think I could probably go downstairs and rebound. I don't know that I'm connected. I don't think I'm connected to the radio stream, come to think of it right now. So I'm going to finish this and we'll try in a minute. I got to calm down. So I may have to disconnect this and start the stream all over again. I don't think Ron Phillips over at Odyssey Radio even knows what's going on. Now that I think about it, I don't think this would have connected to Odyssey Radio through my phone. See, that's how frazzled I am. It's connected to all my streams because that's done through StreamYard, but it's not connected to the internet or the radio stream. So there, now I got a reason I got to motivate myself and move faster. I'm as agitated as I get. So I can go to a commercial. I'm pretty sure I can just link up. There is no commercial. You know what we're going to do? Here. I'm going to put this out. Hang on. Don't go away. There. Oh, it's not working? You sure? It's not loading. Internet's down. So if you want to, you keep an eye on them. So I guess I'm still here. We're still on the phone for the radio show tonight. Ron Phillips, if you're out there and you can hear this, Rocky Stucci, if you're out there, somebody let Ron Phillips know what happened. I can't even get to the stream right now to turn it on or off. I thought it turned on when I turned this on. I wasn't even thinking. It's so automated down on my computer. All I have to do is click the button. I forgot that I don't have that button down here or out here on my phone. It'll get fixed, Matthew. It'll be fixed by morning at the latest. So try not to blow smoke in the garage, even though I'm standing in the doorway, the side doorway. You can kind of see my trees back there. So I don't know, maybe I'm keeping the neighbors up. Maybe they can hear me talking out there. I don't know. So I'll talk a little quieter. So let's see. I got to see if I can get back to just my window. I've got my window and I've got Morgan Snow's "Good Evening" is stretched across there. I'm not sure why that oh, hide current comment. Boom, that was it. So you must have all been seeing that too. So anyway, there's our evening. Scotty, I want what? What does Grumpy Stack need? I want to do my show on the phone. You can do your show on the phone. See, I'm doing it through StreamYard right now on my show. It's the whole setup. The only thing I couldn't do, I couldn't play the opener, but I'm sure I could if I could find it. So let me go to the new comments. There we go. Typical Monday, says Sarah Yusuf. Yeah, typical Monday. So I think we're probably not going to do a Captain's Cabin, and we'll probably do an abbreviated show since I've already not been able to inform Ron that I'm not on the radio. So you were seeing the live feed. This is the live feed. This is the live feed, but you go over to Odyssey Radio right now and listen live. ODYSY radio.com. This show is not playing, I guarantee it. Hey, Kendra Morgan, Napo. Things were so different at that time. I'm not sure what time you're speaking of. I missed part of the comments in my rage. But the show I was going to do tonight was, you know how, my affinity with the Exodus and with Moses, and I've written my own book on it. You all know that stuff, and I've talked about that 100 times on this show over the last several years, as well as reading the whole book. Before the show was on Odyssey, read the whole book, and you can find that if you scroll down on my YouTube page. You'll be able to find that. So, here, Rowan wanted to show off her new kitty. So we might as well.
I'm too short.
Why not? Here, I'll just point it down there. There you go. There's the new kitty.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, live and in living color. Hi, how you doing? So there's the new kitty. He's all the rage around here right now. So,
I'm too short, Dad.
Romeldian, I don't know for sure. To tell you the truth, to answer your question, did I have a past life in that time period? I don't know. Maybe. I know the guy. You remember my stories of it. There he is. Hi, Bob Saget. This is Bob Saget.
It's Bing Bong.
Okay.
Okay, let's go, baby.
Bing Bong Bob Saget. I told the kids that when Rowan asked me, "Can we get another kitty?" I said, "Absolutely not." Yeah, something's trying to knock me off my groove. Maybe myself has knocked me off my groove. But I told Rowan, yeah, we can get another kitty, but under one condition. We have to name it Bob Saget.
No, here, let me tell you the story. So at first he said I couldn't get a kitty, but then
Yep, it said absolutely not.
But then after that, he came. He said, "Rowan, come here." So I came over there, and he said, "You can get the kitty." And then he said he was just joking. So I started crying, and then he said, "I can get the kitty as long as we name it Bob Saget." But we got this kitty without telling Dad, and now its name is Bing Bong.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Saget. So, and it's not Bob Saget like Bob Space Saget. It's Bob Saget. And that's you all know who Bob Saget is. Ron, a message letting him know that he's going on Scotty. Hopefully he sees it. Figured it was worth a shot. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that very much. I could message him from my phone, but I'd have to get off here to do that. So internet problems tonight that didn't arise until literally 20 minutes before I was supposed to go on. And so I'm not a mean, cruel, nasty person, but I was angry. And so anyway, so internet's out. Blue lips and teeth. Yeah, she's sucking on some kind of weird candy that she got at Scouts tonight. So what was I saying about the Exodus? There is some evidence because there's always been that timing problem for the Exodus, where you have some people that think Moses existed and the Exodus took place during the reign of Ramses II, Yul Brynner, you know, and that's not when it happened. That was 150 years too late, as we've talked about before. Well, then the conquest took place after 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, and Joshua takes over after Moses' death, and he leads the people all through the conquest of the land. And there's all these little cities that they name that they conquested in that initial year, I think, year or two, as they're entering the land. They take down all these cities, Jericho being the first. We talked about Jericho not long ago. Well, I've gone through a list of all the arguments that the scholars use to say, well, this couldn't have happened in this period because in the late Bronze period, when this happened, said to have happened biblically, these towns didn't even exist in Israel. Well, Egyptian history, the more you uncover history, the more you find out that that's not true. Some of the little towns that the Bible mentions, that they say that city wasn't even built for another 400 years. Well, they find out that there's a different city that was there that the Egyptians called it by the same name as the later city. But that's not what the Bible calls it. The Bible calls it by its new name, 400 years later. Remember, the Septuagint was written about 1,000 years later, and they used all the updated information. Those writers who did that in the 4th century BC, well, the problem is that they didn't use the city names that existed at the time. They used the cities that existed in their day. So I'm going through all that. I've got a list of those towns. I've got a list of the places and a list of, it's really interesting stuff. If you're into the Exodus at all, having too many Springfields. Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like that. And so we're going to talk about that. We're moving everything that was planned for tonight to tomorrow night for the show. So we'll talk about that tomorrow night. And tonight, we probably aren't even going to go a full hour unless I just yap for an hour. Because now my adrenaline's all up. I'm all like, ah! And so I could talk about a million things, probably, except the stuff that I have my notes on, which I don't have access to, because they're all in my online folder. So, and you've probably noticed it. At times, you can probably tell I'm reading things when I'm doing a live show. Well, I'm reading all my notes. And I reference articles. And I reference scholarly information. That's academic information that's out there. And the problem is, I don't have any of that accessible right here. I could probably find it and call it all up, but I can't move around between windows and have my notes up while I'm doing this on my phone. So we're kind of screwed. Cigarette number two. So, and cigarette smoking, I don't really even like it all that much anymore. It doesn't always taste good anymore, but it's always nice when I get stressed about something or something's not working. I just go outside. I'm going to go have a smoke. you know, Rainey and I have an argument, or the kids are cut, I'm going outside to have a smoke. And I would say in a pack like this, I smoke probably 4 to 5 full cigarettes a day, because I'll smoke a halfie and then I'll put it out and I'll come out and I'll relight that a few hours later. Yes, Yul Brynner did die of emphysema. I remember his ads, his little public service ads that came out. I believe they were after he had died. He had filmed these, and they did him in black and white, and he's wearing like a black coat. And he says to everybody, he says something. All I have to say to you is, don't smoke, don't smoke, is what he said. And I remember that when he died. He died in the early 80s, I believe, 1980s, or it could have been the late 70s. I don't know for sure. So good evening to everybody. Elderberry, Field Guy, Carly Sagan, good evening. Master Finn, good evening. David Potter. Yeah, I need to take up the pipe again. It's much more calming and you look better doing it and you don't inhale that smoke. So there you go. I will. Now that I'm growing out my beard again, I think I will, I think I'll take up my pipe again. That would be fun. Vape is where it's at, says Carly Sagan. Matthew Sainsbury, good to see you. Beth Kirkham, good to see you. Weed. You're speaking my language, Beth. So now, I don't want to give the impression that I'm some kind of wild weed head, pothead. I don't smoke an awful lot. I haven't in a long time. With regularity. Let's see, when was the last time I smoked? I believe it was when I was in, remember when I was in Wyoming and Utah? Back 4 years ago. I had smoked a little bit out there. Maybe once since I've been back here. I think I took a one hit off of somebody's one hit thing once and I did it for real, for medicinal purposes. I thought, this is going to calm my muscles down. I'm going to go to sleep, but I'm going to get stoned first. And then, of course, there were the gummies, the chewables. You all know about that. That was different. That wasn't weed. So anybody I missed that came in here, it's only because I can't scroll in here. I can scroll in here, but I'm afraid to touch this for fear I'm going to mess something up. The Louisiana, oh yeah, the Louisiana trip. Thank you, Morgan Snow. You remember when Sam and I were in Louisiana. That's right. I was dancing to P.D. Pappy's and there was a joint going around, said Beth Kirkham. There you go. Same thing with drinking. I don't drink a whole lot anymore. You know why? I got kids. And that's what kicks in. That's the same thing for weed. I can't smoke weed and I can't drink because I don't want to lose touch with my faculties. When I smoke, I get stupid. That's the reaction. They say everybody has a different reaction. I just get kind of stupid and stupider. And I would be very irresponsible meaning I would be so mellow. I would be, what did you say? I think I can see what Sarah said. I would be interested in seeing references to the Exodus outside of Egyptian and Hebrew accounts. Yeah, that would be very interesting. I think there are some, and I don't have those in the show that I had planned for tonight, but maybe now tomorrow I can look up a few of those and we'll add those in. This phone camera looks a lot better than the usual computer. Well, you know what? I set up all my lights now. I've got a bunch of new lighting hung in the rafters, and I set that all up yesterday and this morning. And my picture from my computer now is really sharp, and it was all a lighting thing. It looks frizzy when it's not well lit. Well, it's now well lit. So medicinal cures everything. Isn't that the truth, Carly? So must say, I give up too many typos. I must say, who said that? Who was the famous comedian who made that line famous? If you remember him, he was on Second City TV, was it, back in the early 80s? I must say, he'd say he played some kind of nerd geek. You know who the actor was? Very famous comedian. He played Edward something. Can't remember the character. It was Martin Short. We'll just cut to it. Martin Short, and he had this character, and he slicked his hair up into a little swirl that would come up, all waxed up, probably a wig. Yep, Short. There it is. And he wore a plaid shirt, short-sleeved shirt, and suspenders with his pants pulled way up to his rib cage. And I must say, was one of his lines. So there you go. So, but yeah, they talk about exaggerated numbers, Matthew Sainsbury. We'll talk about that a bit tomorrow night. I don't think there were that many people. I don't think there were. They say there were up to 2 to 6 million people, because it says there were 200,000 men, plus their wives and families and herds and all of that, any livestock they owned and so on. I think it's an exaggerated number or a translated exaggeration. But I do believe it happened, as you all know. How could I not? Smoke's going out. So there we go. Just anecdotally, I could have probably hooked up to the internet, to the radio station through the phone. But you know what? I don't have that set up on the phone, because I don't ever broadcast from the phone. So there's that. Even if I'd had it set up on the phone ahead of time, maybe. But you can't plan for this. And I was mad, and I took it out on the guy I was talking to, who was very gracious. And then I said, "You've been very gracious." I said, "It's not your fault." And I said, "I apologize to you personally for having to put up with my insanity. I was insane for a minute. I think I could have murdered somebody and pled insanity, and I could have won the case." So, and he said, "I can pass this all on to them if you'd like." I said, "Would you please?" I said, "Play in the recording too. They might want to hear it." Because I told them in no uncertain terms, this is fucked up. And I said, now I'm a fuck up because of it, and I don't like that. And so that was my thing. So I got a secret link. I could do an Odyssey show right now. Yeah, I don't have it. I can't get at it. It's on my computer. It's all on the internet, so I can't get at it even. Homie, don't play that. It says it's same show. No, that was in living color, Elderberry. Loved that show too. At the time, I don't have much time for TV now. When I turn on the TV, I usually go to YouTube and I watch historical shows, because I want to learn more about history. Sounded like somebody was slowing down in front of my house. They weren't. So I'm in the garage, by the way. So here, I'll give you a look. You all wanted to get a tour of the new house? Well, the new house is a disaster because nothing's all put away. But this is the way the garage looks right now. That's the door to the house. Over there, that's the laundry room door, just beyond that cabinet. The front of that garage is that way. But there's our big bed. Leaning up in here. That's why I can't smoke in here, by the way. And all these boxes, that's been dug through a million times looking for lost stuff. There's the garage door way up front. So that's the way we kind of look right now in the garage. So that's all I can show you. Well, I could take on a whole tour of the house right now, but it doesn't do any good. Nothing to look at. So except a mess up in the front room. Because everything, we don't have all the closets figured. Rainy's in my master bedroom is in the downstairs. We've got to paint that all and get that prepped. And so Dave is going to come over one of these days, and we're going to get that started. I want to get the floors done and the ceilings done and then the walls, and then we can move the bedroom in. Well, Rainey's like, I don't want just the rafters. I want to have something over that. That's why, Uncle Dave, I talked to you about maybe seeing if I can get some of that, what looks like the old tin ceilings in the old bars in the 1800s, the old taverns and stuff, those little square, the tin ceilings. So you can get sheets of that and put it up. Yeah, Carly, I'm all there is to look at tonight. Sorry, guys. No maps, no pictures. Yeah, days go by too fast. I watch too much TV as it is. I mostly do it at night. I'll leave the TV on when we go to bed, really low, and I'll let historical shows play. So that's what I've heard, Sarah. I want to look around and see what we can find. There's some imitation stuff. I'd rather do that than styrofoam blocks, stuff like that. If I can find something that's inexpensive for now, I don't have the money to put up real tin ceilings, that's for sure. I was just going to see what's available out there. I need to get about what? 1, 2, 4. The room's about 18 feet wide by about 20 feet deep. So if those come in 8-foot sections or even 6-foot, let's say they're 6 foot by 4 foot, and you tack them up on the ceiling, on the rafters, I would need probably 6 sheets of that, is my guess, off the top of my head. So I got to see what it's worth. Somebody said something here, big long one. Oh, that was Matthew. Okay. So thought I heard somebody opening the door to come out. Boom. And so what's on everybody's mind? Yeah, Leslie, I'd love to have that stuff. If you're talking about the same stuff, the faux tin. Yeah, it's the faux tin, Michelle Cannon-Free. Parents just put up a tin roof. It cost them $27,000. That's a roof. Yeah. Well, a normal roof, when I was down in Louisiana, most of the houses we did would run, the people whose roofs we did, just in shingles, would run roughly about the same, $20 to $25,000 to do a whole roof of a standard size house. But most people, we worked with insurance companies, so we did it all through their insurances. And I'm not talking a roof, Grumpy. I'm talking just a ceiling for a room. I think it'd be fun to do in the office if I could find a bunch of that stuff cheap enough, even used or old or something. I'd like to find out. I know where I can possibly get stuff like that from old buildings, says Steve Clark, that are being taken down here in Kansas. Steve, if you score something like that, let me know. So at least one room I want to do on that. Antique stores. Yeah, you're going to pay a lot for it there, Leslie. So, and that's just my wish list for this. Doesn't mean I'm going to be able to do it. I'll probably end up putting up thin sheetrock and screwing it to the ceiling. Not going to drop a ceiling. I'm just going to use sheetrock and screw it right into the rafters. So that's probably what it'll end up being. And maybe I'll paint it in a gold finish or something, or a bronze to finish. That could be kind of fun. Maybe. Or black. I thought of just spraying the rafters black. Just like you see if you go into a theater and you notice all the ceilings and all the rafters are all black, flat black, and they hang all the lights up in there. I thought that'd be kind of cool to do. Maybe. We'll see. Pearson Castile, how you doing? Thoughts on the hurricane? I don't have any because I'm not down there and I haven't seen much news on it. I heard it's coming. Florida's going to get hit hard. I thought I heard. So, let's take a commercial break for a second. You're not going to see anything except my door. I'm going to go get something to drink. I'll be right back. stay in the house. I'm back. Hold on. I'm getting there. All right. I'm back with my drink. Not the kind of drink I'd like to have. Hey, oh, hey. I'm sorry, what was that, Raven? What are you eating?
Turkey and cheese with mayonnaise.
Don't trip on my cord.
That's not your cord, that's my cord, and the phone needs to be careful.
It's my cord right now. Let's see. Let me get this set back up because it just fell down all on its own. Nothing. She loves me. Hang on. Something's not, it's not sitting right now because I biffed it. I need that thing. This little stand is great until you actually need it for anything practical. There you go. That'll do. That'll do. So I have one more of these. One more, just because. Don't judge me. So, fumble on the play. Fumble on the play. I call interference. Well, she didn't chide me about the smoke, so it must not be getting in the garage. See, there's a bright side to everything. Who am I to judge? Said Leslie. Exactly. No judgments ever. I am fully aware that these things can kill me. Sure. I like to justify it by saying I don't smoke enough to do that, but it's there. And I still have to be careful about it. So at least my doc wants me to be. I got to move that back a little bit, or I got to stand back a little bit. There we go. Something like that. See, if I try to mess with it so it doesn't fall over again, that's what'll happen. So can stress and quicker. Yeah, cigarettes do take me down a little bit when I'm stressed. So anyway, Andrew Speck says, my body, my choice. There it is. Yeah, it's my choice. Let's see. Read a story about ghosts of Galveston hurricane in 1901. I've heard about that from other investigators, probably different sources. Get much rain down here, Sean. Says Barbie D. Where are you at, Barbie D? To use proper English? Where are you at? My kids will go, where are you at, Dad? I'm like, where are you, Dad? What is your location? I quit smoking for vaping and utilize it less, says Carly Sagan. Life is too damn short to deprive yourself of the things that bring you joy and peace. That's right. And hopefully I don't smoke enough for it to be a big problem. So when I notice it was when I had COVID, because it made me cough more. But I'm all right. Smoke hemperettes. I had one of those. Remember down in Louisiana, I had one of those. So I coughed on cue. There you go. Sounds like one of our lingos, said Field Guy. Where you at? That's my. Do you know what I heard today? New Orleans has the highest murder rate in the country right now. They've had 208 murders as of today, which is up from 144 last year. Don't ask me why I remember that number, and something like 70 the year before that. So these midterm elections, folks, just to let you know, not pumping anything. I am going to say the issues are not who are the bad guys out there. The issues are who has a plan to take care of economy, gas prices. So inflation, gas prices, crime. Vote your conscience on those. Who do you think is going to take better care of that job? So, Field Guy says, "Oh no, NOLA is way worse." They say it's the leader in crime in the country right now, is New Orleans. Why you got to give me AFIGH? I don't know what that is. Try real Turkish cigarettes. Yeah, they'll knock you on your backside real fast, says Steve Clark, with one puff. Chicago's up there pretty high. Lightfoot, the mayor, I think that's her name, Lightfoot, the one with the bug eyes. She is not taking responsibility for her city. So, let's see. Carly Sagan. I went to, oh, it scrolled up too fast. I didn't catch that. Gary was #1 murder capital for, I heard that, Gary, Indiana. I had, when I was publishing comic books back in the 1980s, I had a distributor of comic books out of Gary, Indiana. And I had to take a trip down there so often. They have Cajun food and there, you scrolled away. I'm not reading fast enough. Well, there it is, Field Guy. Play off of Dave's post. I didn't see Dave's post. I'd have to scroll back to find it. If the criminals would just take time to properly learn how to use a weapon and actually learn to be accurate, there would be far less deaths, says Roger Rabbit. That's true. Of course, they don't have the weapons to use them right. They have them to intimidate. So you can intimidate them back. That's a pretty good deterrent, I think. Ephesus Gold is my Turkish brand. If I was in Turkey, said Elderberry. When I was in Egypt, John would smoke Cleopatra's, and he would give me a cartouche, a carton of Cleopatra's when I was there. And we'd smoke through them all. When I was with John, we smoked like smokestacks. So every 20 minutes we were smoking a cigarette. So Turkish figs, those would be good. Those probably don't hurt your lungs as much, is my guess, Michelle. Daniel Odrum, I carry everywhere I go. I have my concealed carry permit. I don't have my concealed carry permit. Rainey and I were thinking of getting one. So you hate to say that our country is in that kind of shape, but we are. So now this is my third in a half an hour. That's why my coughing's already up. And then tomorrow morning I'll feel it. I'll go, bleh. I smoked a lot last night. I went to a 24-hour diner. 6 of us were smoking jarms. They told us we couldn't. Nice. I used to smoke jarms all the time. That's when I started smoking. I didn't even start smoking. I never picked up a cigarette until I was 40. It was during my divorce from my 3 older kids' mom. And I was going through all the custody battles, and somebody was smoking one of those, a black Jarum clove cigarette at the Irish pub. And I said, that smells really good. And she said, here, you want one? Sure. And I took one. So I bought a pack, and a pack would last me 2 months. I mean, I'd smoke 2 or 3 at the bar, and then I wouldn't pick them up again until the next Tuesday. We went out on Tuesdays to the Irish pub because our bands played there on Tuesday nights, our Irish bands. The Tim Malloys, bloody Irish music. If you're from around here, you know who they are. LA is creepy as hell. Louisiana or LA. And then again, so is my home state of Missouri. Everywhere's a little rugged right now. Started at 32 during my divorce. There it is. Same MO, Michelle. Yeah, I picked it up when I was 40, and I'm now 61. So I've been smoking for 21 years. Doesn't seem that long ago. Rainey and I used to smoke. We would get Camels in the little tin, the little square tin that was about that thick. And they had the different flavored ones. Like they had vanilla ones, they had plain ones, they had some that had a kind of a citrusy hint to them. I liked those. So I would smoke those. And then they just discontinued them. And Rainey stopped smoking as soon as she found out she was pregnant with Flynn, which was 14 years ago. And she's had maybe one cigarette that whole time, maybe two, part of a second one. So she just dropped cold turkey. Said, I'm done. Let's see, every time you smoke one, else you're depriving a child of a cigarette. That's right. That's right, Dave. It's my duty. How much are the concealed carry permits there, Scotty? I don't even know off the top of my head. I'm surrounded by guys that have them. And I never asked them, what's it cost to get a concealed carry? I don't know. So I'm going to check into it here pretty soon. Because I would like Rainey to pack. Camel Zig's lung torpedoes. Yeah. You bake, I'll be your official taste tester, sir. Quality control. There it is. Sir's talking about bacon? I like bacon. B-A-K-I-N apostrophe. I like bacon too. Let's see. Daniel Londra, I got mine for $17. It's good for 5 years. I don't even know what you're talking about. So probably some kind of electric thing. Oh, your concealed carry. Duh. First cigarette was at 14 and am now 50 plus, only had one a year that I quit. This is Andrew Specht. I started on Camel Straight. Caramel? Oh, Camel Straight or Caramel Straight? Leslie said, as I said earlier, they said smokers were less, everything about smoke is bad, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you scrolled up and I couldn't see what you said. Everything about smokers were less affected by COVID issues in their lungs. Well, you know, I got to tell you, I had the cough. Somebody just said to me the other day, you know why you had the cough? Because you're a smoker. And I said, well, I didn't have a big cough with COVID. I did this last time. I had a cough that hung on for 3 weeks, as you all know, on this program. So, so once again, for those of you who've come in late, I apologize, but my internet went down about 20 minutes before the show. And it's not up yet. It may be up late tonight, maybe up by tomorrow morning. So we should be back to normal by tomorrow. So I hope. So what sucks is even a concealed carry permit goes against Second Amendment rights to carry. It does? It shouldn't. It should be coincide with the Second Amendment. That's why the powers that were so damned insistent on smokers to quit. They couldn't kill us with COVID. There it is. So, and I don't know if you all got the injection, not injection, the vax. I didn't get the vax. None of us did in my family. So, or a booster. I had friends that stood up for that, and it seemed to fall along political lines, but they got all vaxxed and every booster. And a good friend of mine, a little older than I am, she got it and she had it for months. She had the long haulers version. I felt bad for her, but it was like, you know. Novak's here, not going to, says Michelle Cannon Free. Yeah, we're not going to either. So we don't have it. We haven't had it yet. I've had COVID twice. We had it almost 2 years ago when it was first out, when it first came out. The whole family had it, and I've told this before. We I was down for about 3 or 4 days. It felt like a truck hit me. And it was on about the third day, I realized that I didn't have any taste buds. And we said, hey, maybe this is COVID. So we went and got tested. Sure enough, I had it. And I got my taste buds back in a week. And about 10 days to 2 weeks was the whole run of the thing. And I was back to normal. That was 2020, January of 2020, January of 2021, because it'll be almost 2 years. And then I had it, of course, when Rainey went to Alaska, I got it. And I just felt weak and feeble for 3 or 4 days. And then it was me and just the girls, Ellery and Rowan. Flynn and Rainey went to Alaska. And then, so I couldn't even cook for the kids that first week. I stayed away from cooking, so I just directed them on what to cook, how to do what they had to do, and they did a great job. And then I was back to normal after that with a naggy cough for 3-4 weeks. Let's see. I'm not far left or right, but I don't trust anything about this virus. Yeah, I have my issues with it. So, oh, by the way, the one show that they pulled on YouTube here, because they said I was talking too much about the election, it was a show from a year and a half ago that all of a sudden 3 days ago, I got a notice that they pulled that show, demonetized it, and yanked it off of my thing because I was promoting the lies about the election, and I wasn't. I was talking about it. I was talking about what happened in the news that day. I started, sometimes I'll start the show, and on rare occasions I'll go, I saw something in the news today politically, and I got to talk about it. And that's all it was. And it was the show when we were doing the shows on Enoch, the book of Enoch. And remember, we were talking about, if you remember this, the original language, and Enoch being the original person that God gave the gift of understanding language and measurements and mathematics and all of that. So we were talking about that stuff. It was in the beginnings of one of those shows. And so I was, somebody must have heard that and then reported that I was talking about the election. I don't know how they find this stuff a year and a half later. And so I wrote to them and I said, that's kind of silly. I wasn't promoting anything. I said, I stated my political beliefs. I said, but I wasn't promoting that anybody follow that. I was reporting what was going on in the news about it. And then I asked the question, I said, why would you, as a company that exists because of our Constitution, have a problem with me expressing my constitutional right to free speech in the First Amendment? Why would that be a problem anyway, no matter what the topic was? I said, unless I was harming somebody else, if I was promoting pedophilia or promoting murder or promoting stuff like that. And I said, I think that's kind of irresponsible. Why would you even have a problem with me reporting the news about this? And they came back today. I got an email that said, we did look at it and we apologize. We put the show back up and remonetized it. And you were right. And I said, thank you. So, yeah, the virus made you lose your taste buds. I lost my sense of taste, I think, for 1 or 2 days this last time. I noticed it one day. I didn't eat for like 3 days, other than just stuff to keep myself alive. But I didn't really notice it till about the 3rd or 4th day. And I went, uh-oh, I think I've lost my taste buds. But then they were back the next day or so. So there it was. Durwood says, most free and fair election in history. LOL. Thank you. I'll double that. I'll second that. LOL. So I just saw somebody on the news today, some little geeky pundit. He looked really odd. He was wearing a bow tie and he kind of talked like this. And he was talking about the numbers and stuff. And he says, I think what people don't realize right now, he says that the GOP is probably going to pull much higher numbers than is anticipated in this election. And for all the years he's been looking at it, and there's pundits everywhere, but this guy seemed to be, he was geeky enough to be a mathematical professional on this stuff and an observer of elections. And he said, I honestly believe, he says, there is a silent majority out there that doesn't want to experience the cancel culture. They don't want to experience anybody getting mad at them because of what they believe. He says, I really do. And he wasn't coming from a point of view of being a GOPer. He was a mathematician and a pundit, having looked at elections for decades. And he said, my take on this is, he says, there's going to be a lot more GOP voting than anybody's prepared for. And he says the current president has brought them out. And if you notice too, the whole cancel culture thing, that's finally being stood up against. Do you know, with the cancel culture and a lot of the rhetoric of the left that would scare people into not saying things for fear of being canceled, that a lot of people stayed quiet about stuff. Now, I just saw a thing on the banking system. They had some kind of Senate, or it was a House hearing, because I think it was Talib that was interviewing somebody via video. And they had all these high-ranking bankers up on this line. This was just, it's Monday, so it was last week. And she made a statement about, she's going through each one and saying, are you as the CEO of the, and it's somebody like Diamond, I think was his name, Dimon, head of Chase, CEO of Chase, but they had all these big banking organizations with all their CEOs up on a line and sitting at a table. And she said something to him about, are you going to, is your bank going to stop giving funds out for, I'm trying to think what it was. It was a thing of saying, it would be like saying, if you were living in a totalitarian government, that somebody from the government would say, you can't do that because it goes against your totalitarian leader, therefore you can't. And so she was asking the question kind of framed like that. And I can't remember what it was funding. Funding something, it didn't have anything to do with schools. I can't remember what the topic was. But, will you continue funding, giving loans to fossil fuel companies, which is a farce as it is, to fuel companies, to oil companies that will go against the environment and stuff like that? Discontinue funding their companies and their projects in there. And the answer came back from Diamond. He said, absolutely not. He says that would be death to America to do that. And she was so unprepared for that answer to come back at her, because you know what? These have been the lines they've been using, and everybody kowtows to it, and he didn't. Because you know why? People are getting to the point, and the big corporations are even getting to the point. Remember, the corporations were going along with all this stuff too, because everybody's afraid of getting canceled. And he just came out and said that would be the death of America. And she says, and then she started going blustering at him and saying, how can you answer that? And what about all the people that have loans? Maybe we'll just tell all the people that have their college loans through you to stop paying on their college loans and stuff like that. And how irresponsible is that? You can find that. Look up Talib talking to the bankers. You can see that. So without making this a show about politics tonight, this is some of the stuff. And there are things that I rank as politics. There are things I rank as current events. This is a current event going on in your political system, in your government. What the government needs to be reminded that they are there at the behest of the people and to serve the people. That's the great experiment. I started watching that Ken Burns documentary, says Sarah, about the U.S., scrolled up, and the Holocaust. I was surprised to see how much racism in the U.S. affected it. There's that. So I think a lot of this stuff, if people, and I think people are paying attention more than they ever have. And I think that's going to have a big effect on the midterm elections, for good or bad, whatever position you take, for good or bad. So I hope you all think your way through the elections and don't just vote party. Vote common sense. That's all I have to say about that. I'm going to have one more of these tonight, and that's it. When this is done, I will probably call it quits on the show for tonight. Oh, it's already 10 o'clock. We're already in the captain's cabin, technically. So look at that. I went a whole hour talking about nothing. So Sarah Yusuf is going to bed. Good night, Sarah. Thanks for being here. Tomorrow night, we should be back to regular show. Thank you, everybody who's here. We've been gaining some listeners right now. So thank you all for being here. On a night when the show, we got a bit kicked in the butt tonight because our internet had problems about 20 minutes before the show. Those of you who did not hear that from the beginning, that's why I'm broadcasting this way, via my phone out in the garage. And and we did not do the regularly scheduled show. We will tomorrow night. So at least we made it here. Hey, Debbie Treadway. So I have always thought that voting party was wrong. I think you said, Pearson, you scrolled up, I always thought that voting party is one of the largest problems, and the show sounded great to me. Thank you. So it's been a frustrating evening, Matthew. You're right. But I'm over it now. Milky Way Soul Tribe. I didn't even see you come in. Welcome. Rudy Kessler, good to see you. Even though they complain about it. Yep. Not sure what you're talking about, but I agree. Complaining gets us nowhere. So, action. You got to do stuff. You got to be part of the process. If you're not part of the process, you can't complain about the process. We have one thing the rest of the world doesn't have, and it's the vote the way we have it. We can change things, I do believe. Hey, Milky Way Soul Tribe. Good to see you. So you're probably one of those who's just come in now, and we're broadcasting differently tonight because we had an issue with the internet tonight. So we should be back and working probably as soon as this show is over. I'll bet you it'll be back up. So just got done with my show and traveled here. Well, I'm sure glad you did, Milky Way. So what else? I've got so much to talk about. So many things we could talk all night, but I ain't gonna. I think I still haven't. I've come down. I still have my mind and body has not come down from being as disappointed as I was earlier tonight, and as angry as I was. I was angry. No one to be angry at. Angry at a stupid internet company that doesn't. Never mind. I'm going to complain about them, and I don't want to. They have the monopoly on the internet in our town. If I lived 12 miles that way, over in Stillwater, Minnesota, I'd have my choice of about 70 different internet companies, every internet company that exists, because it's part of the cities. But out here, we don't get that. We get one company, 12 miles away. Butte, Montana. I'm watching a paranormal show with Dave Schrader. They're Ghosts of Devil's Perch. It's a new show this season. They've done 4 or 5 episodes so far. And that's a pretty good show. I like Dave Schrader. Cindy Kaza is the psychic they have with them. They have a different tech guy. I can't think of his name. Sorry. But it's all the hauntings in Butte, Montana. And it was the mayor of the town, I think, that called them in to do the show there. So they've been doing shows all in and out of all around Butte, Montana. They have real people for you to talk to when you call to complain. Who? I just got the tech guy on the phone tonight. So we can't fix it tonight. Well, he gave me the sliver of maybe, but can't fix it tonight. So anyway, there's that. What else we got going on? Milky Way. I didn't know that Butte, Montana was that haunted. I guess apparently it is. It's a big old copper mining town, silver and copper mining in the 1800s. And it was built into a boom town for that. And apparently there's been a lot of the old mansions there that they've been going to. It's an interesting show. I mean, it's still a paranormal show, but guys like Dave Schrader, I trust Dave Schrader. I've known him personally for years. And I think he does a really good job with what he does. So, and a lot of granite there too. Yeah. That retains. So, Myrtle's Plantation, Matthew, that's a big place. Known about that for a couple of decades. It's a very famous place to go for hauntings and things like that. I know you're in Barbados and you see some of these shows and you bring some of that information here. It's not your fault, but that's stuff we've all heard about for years and years and years. So I'm glad you're getting to learn a little bit about that place. Elk is a fine cut of beef. I'll have to take a trip there and check it out. Don't worry, I'll take pictures, says Milky Way. Yeah, please do. That'd be fun to share on the show. Field guy wants to sleep in the haunted room. Cool, Matthew. Thank you. You know, Milky Way, this is going to sound really bad because I should know this. Are you somebody else that I know on the show? And I just don't know you by Milky Way? That's possible. You don't have to say who you are if you don't want to. So I may have talked to you before. I don't know if I talked to you. Oh, Robert V. How you doing, Robert? Now I know who you are. Leslie, Buffalo is good. I really like Buffalo. It's a little more expensive, but we used to just get ground buffalo, organic raised ground buffalo, and make meat patties out of it, just like hamburgers. Fantastic meat. Really good. You go to the Stanley Hotel, you get good elk. They have elk all over there. That's where I had my first elk, and that was very good. I don't think I've had caribou. We've got some moose that Rainey brought back with her last year from Alaska, and they brought back some more this year, and so that was really good too. Pearson Castile, anyone thoughts on old classic country? I didn't like it as a kid. I love it now. New country drives me insane some days. But when you're talking old country, you're talking like probably like Hank Williams. You're talking probably Waylon Jennings, some of those guys. Yeah. If you like country music and ghosts, check out the Ghosts of Country Music. I'll have to listen to that. I'll have to check it out. Porter Wagner, yep. My mom's, one of her husbands, she was married a few times when I was a kid, but one of her husbands was into that, and he'd get up every morning at 6 o'clock to go to work. He'd have the shower going, and he'd turn up his stereo out in the living room. The whole house would boom with old country music. So, Leslie, Scotty, I need to try and get some sleep. I hate missing any of your show, but I'm poop. I don't sleep well. I don't sleep well either. Leslie, it's okay. I'm probably not going to be here much more than 5 or 10 more minutes. Patsy Cline, Callie Clapp says. That's right. Callie Clapp Peterson. So good night, Leslie. Thank you again for what you did. She threw a nice donation in at the top of the show. Thank you. Everything you do for us, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I will tell you all that we are just average Americans. We're average people. We struggle with finances. We struggle with the bills being paid. And so when I put up in there, you know, join the channel, and I don't always fulfill my obligation on that. I haven't put on a newsletter yet for the show and stuff like that. It just helps defray the costs of putting the show on. So I pay do the internet. Oh, I just had a flash in my service there. That was on my phone. I think I'm fine though. So we've been going an hour and 12 minutes. So, just average stuff. And stuff is getting more expensive to pay for. We suffer that like everybody else. We don't make a lot of money here. There's times I do. You know, you're rolling in it some months. Other months you're like, am I going to make it to the end of the month? So you did, Leslie, for a second. My whole screen flashed black and then came back up. So thank you, Susie Q. I appreciate that. So you know what I'm kind of hoping and hanging on to is some of my properties. My been talking with my agent about Tam O'Hare and Fox and Bear, and John Ward wants me to come out to Sweden for the month of November to finish up Fox and Bear, which we started 5 years ago. That's the one where we had DreamWorks had told our agent they were very interested in that because we proposed it to them as an animated full-length feature movie. And some of you may remember what Fox and Bear was about. And all anthropomorphized. All the characters are animals, like Tam O'Hare. And the characters were very loosely based on John Ward and me. It started as a joke where I had done a piece of art showing John as a fox and me as a bear. And we were both dressed in fedoras, and him in tweed coat and a cravat and an umbrella over his arm, and the bear with a shirt with the sleeves rolled up and a scarf tied around his neck and smoking a pipe. And Fox was Lord Braithwaite, and he was a British aristocrat who was also an archaeologist and had what was I going to say about him? Just an intellectual, an academic, an aristocrat back during, and the story was set in the early 1920s. And Bear, Professor Tewksbury, he is an American bear who's a professor of history. And these two are a team, and they do their archaeological things and their gigs and all of that. And so we created a story out of that. So let's see. I was reading it like Scotty did when we read it on YouTube and lost my accent. Amelia said, Grandma, Tam lost his accent. I said, Grandma's tired. You know, I had put up a post with John Wayne the other day showing a picture of him from The Quiet Man, the way he was dressed. Everybody was commenting on that. And I said, the Irish actor, he's older now, but Gabriel Byrne, if you remember him, he bought the original cottage that was used as White on Morn in the movie The Quiet Man. And I said, Gabriel Byrne was somebody, when I was writing Tam O'Hare, I always envisioned Gabriel Byrne as being the person, if it ever got to a movie status, that he would voice Tam O'Hare. So I always wanted him to do that. That's still in the back of my mind. But all of that to say, I've been talking to my agent about some of these properties, and we're going to try to see if we can get one picked up as an animated motion picture. So there you go. We'll see how that goes. Since I was a kid, I wanted to get into radio and music, but kind of losing interest in moving back to my weather interest, says Pearson. Do it while you can. 20 years from now. You'll regret more of the things you didn't do than the things you did do. So anyway, my smoke is done. And I smoked 4 cigarettes during the show tonight. How about that? That's a day's limit for me. So I'm done for tonight. And so we'll be back tomorrow night in all our glory, if they have the internet fixed. I anticipate being back in time. And that's it. That's all I got to say about tomorrow. So all of you that came in and stuck around, even when we had some problems with the broadcast tonight, I appreciate that very much. Somebody said something about Gabriel Byrne, I think. I can totally hear Gabriel Byrne. Not that you now that you mentioned. Thank you, Leslie. Yes. And I always saw Tam O'Hare. I could hear his voice in my head when I was writing that book. And some of you might think that's just a kid's book. It's Leslie could probably tell you, and those of you who have read it, it's a lot more than a kid's book. There was something in that book that was a part of me that I put into it. And that's the first book I ever wrote. I wrote that, started writing it in 1998. My wife at the time went into alcohol treatment. I was going to divorce her. I had Abby and Bryn at home. They were, in 1998, they were 6 going on 7. And I remember sitting on the living room floor one night with those two, and we were drawing pictures because mom wasn't there. And so I was mom and dad. And she was gone for about 6 months. And but we were drawing pictures, and I used to tell them stories of William the Mouse. He was a Scottish mouse. And of Tam O'Hare, an Irish rabbit, who was an English lord. And that's what became. We sat on the living room floor with markers, and we were drawing pictures of these characters. And I did the painting that's on the cover of Tam O'Hare. The book is the painting I did the next day for my girls. While they were at school, I painted that picture, and we hung it up. And that is the original art for the original Tam O'Hare cover. If you ever look at that, you can go look it up, The Rollicking Adventures of Tam O'Hare. You can look it up if you don't know what it looks like, and you can see that. So, but the story, there's a lot of heart and soul in that story, for it being about rabbits and squirrels and badgers and beavers and bears and foxes. So, but all set in the reigns of Queen Elizabeth I and the Mary Queen of Scots. And so there's a lot in that book, and there was a lot of me in that character. But I always heard Gabriel Byrne's voice as I was writing it. I would hear Tam in that thick Irish brogue, and so on. So thank you, Leslie. I think it is for all ages. I probably wrote it more for adults, but it's good for kids too. So there you go. Well, that's all I got for tonight, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate your being here. Thank you for giving me your time on this show like you do every night. And we'll be back tomorrow night in full glory. Rabbits and bears and badgers, oh my, says Dave Potter. So, and we'll, that Tam O'Hare mask is sitting right over here somewhere. Oh, I see it. Hold on a second. Don't go away. I'm just going to walk to the other part of the garage, and I got to get around some junk here. So hang on. I'm going to grab this. Let's see. I can get at it from this side. It's in the middle. Okay, I'm coming back. I got it. I got it. I got it. Here we go. There's one box. It's right in the way here that got put there just tonight. So back in 2007, I had quit doing the Renaissance Festival in 2005. And Carr Hagerman, our creative director, he asked me to come out and promote Tam O'Hare, the book, on the children's stage and do some readings out there and bring the book out. And this is my friend Carr. I've talked about him before. He was the one that went through all those trials with the false rape charges and so on. Well, he was creative director and he asked me to come out and do TAM. And so I talked to Dave and Wayne, who was on our show the other night with my festival friends, to do Tam O'Hare on the stage, at the children's stage. And I said, let's do one of the sword fights from the book. And I had it between Tam and then the British sea captain, the British officer, Martin Frobisher. And I had him as a ferret. And you know what Dave goes and does? I had Dave and Wayne playing the characters. Dave shows up at my house one day with these masks that he made, that they would wear their regular costumes and they do the sword fight, but they put these little masks on. And this is the one that Dave did for Tam O'Hare, the rabbit. And you can see the inside where he sketched the things on the inside. He wet the leather down and tooled the leather to make the face. And so then I took and I painted the features on it, just in the acrylic paint. It's painted. And so that would go on like this. And there's Tam, the rabbit, with his big front teeth. They don't look that big in the book, and his big floppy rabbit ears. And then Dave, of course, had his hat on over the top. And the other guy was dressed as the ferret sea captain. So Dave Potter made these masks, and these are leather masks. And this one was missing for a while, and I found it in one of the costume boxes. And so there's, and you could see through this part is where he made that you could see through it. And so they sword fought on stage wearing these masks. So that was Tam right there. So there he is, that leather mask. And then I've got Martin Frobisher, the ferret captain, who was hanging on my bookshelf behind me all the time doing radio. And I may have shown that once before. So Dave surprised me with these. Do you know what it would cost you to get an artisan like Dave to create these masks out of leather, hand-tooled leather? And they were phenomenal without the color. I put the color on because I thought I could use it. And I said, Dave, what should I paint that? He said, just try acrylic. So I just painted it on with acrylics, and there it is. This mask was made in 2007, and it's still. And I got to ask you, Dave, the best way to treat these? Maybe on the inside, I don't know. The leather's a little stiff because it's old, but I thought that was very cool of Dave. You wouldn't believe what you would have to pay an artisan to create something like this for you. So there's Tam. So he kind of looks like he did in the book. Dave did a fantastic job. So anyway, there we go, folks. I've said it now 3 times. That's the show for tonight. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you tomorrow night. And in the meantime, you know what? Live long and prosper. Good night.